Get up here in the Loft and get your head right.
What's snapping in head right, homies? Welcome to the Loft, your head right hangout. Your sane space from the global rubber room. Let me give a sip of my mug, man. Oh, yeah, that's better, baby. All right, hey, Meatloaf Monday, man. Let's get meaty. Well, I'm gonna do the best I can. Well, you know, Zoe, your meat is more like, you know, like beyond meat. You don't really bring the meat, right? I think it's more meatier than, it may be like, you know, I don't know, maybe kangaroo meatish. You know, maybe not be like the full-on, you know, Angus steer, you know, bison red meat that you want, but we get kind of close, I think, you know. There's, I don't know, maybe it's like some venison, like lean, right? Not fatty meat. I'm trying. All right, hey. At any rate, I hope you guys this Monday is off to a rocking start, man. That your weekend is, you know, getting off on the good foot, baby. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? First up, man, let's talk about some stuff that I'm just particularly interested in. You know, well, I take an interest. I'm interested because I think you guys find it interesting, and I'm interested in what you guys. I care. I care about what you're interested in. Kind of. No, it's okay. So we'll start off with these things that came across my desk, also known as, well, where's my desk? My desk is, well, here it is. Here's my desk. And where I sit at my desk is usually on the toilet. So, is one of my offices. I have several, and that's one of them. Jealous. Anyway, we'll talk about amazingly fast drummer. It's surprisingly it's not talking about me, but amazingly fast drummer. People see the proof but don't believe it. And this is coming from we're talking about two drummers in particular here. El Estepario. You guys probably seen him like pop up. I don't know unless you've been under a rock or something like that. This guy he's just so fast, right? That he can play like stuff with one hand. You know, that a lot of people can barely do with two. And then there's another drummer that came out who's just on another level. Not only can he do stuff with one hand that it takes people to do with two people, even people playing with both hands can hardly keep up with this guy. I mean, he's just so amazingly fast. Talking about Riccardo Merlini, so I want to talk a little bit about that. But there's, it's like, you know, it's not just a frivolous exercise. I mean, talking about music is something I'm particularly interested in. There's some implications that are going here that I think you guys might find rather interesting. I hope you will anyway. And then we have drone experts. Yeah, get to that, Zove. Freaking drummers, who cares? No player. Let me see. Drone experts floats chilling theory on New Jersey sightings. Then we have radioactive medical device lost in transit in New Jersey. NRC report says. So I guess we're following up with the drone activity. Texas AG Ken Paxton sues New York abortionists for mailing abortion drugs. Get him. All right. The Chosen sparks controversy as critics label scene between Jesus and Judas unbiblical. Word? Okay. And I shall be objective in my discourse with this presentation. AI chatbots inciting users to die. Second suicide is reported. Two suicides reported. Trump calls for end the daylight saving times. What, no more spring forward, no more fallback? Huh. So much winning. ABC News and George Stephanopoulos ordered to pay $15 million to Trump for defamation. That's right. Okay, sick of y'all. And been sick of y'all. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson. I think his name should be something else. Anyway, Lamar Jackson talks about his unisex cologne, says he likes to smell like a girl sometimes. No comment at this point. Bear with me.
None of those gay comments yet?
Yeah, no. Well, believe it or not, I wasn't gonna say gay. I wasn't gonna go there. I guess I had to cough that and get out of my system first. Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's get to these drums real quick. I just gotta get. I know. It's like for me, it seemed like I would save the best for last because this is the thing more particularly. But I'll get it out of the way for you guys, right? Get it out of the way for y'all. Hopefully, there's some people who care. I would used to do my commentaries. And I got my sticks handy like right now, but I would do my commentaries and I would have my sticks in my hand and it went over a lot of people's heads. They didn't get it.
Yeah.
It's like, Zoe, come on, man, what's with the sticks? I just want to hear the politics, man. I don't care about your music. It's like I could have like musical instruments and stuff like in the background, and I would have that stuff in my background for like years, and I would actually have people like I would share like some music stuff or did like that and be like, I didn't know you were a musician. Serious, man. It's like, wow, really? I got drumsticks, I got my guitars in the background, but drums. You didn't know I was a musician? Wow. But for real, that's a real thing. I mean, I don't think they were being sarcastic or facetious either. They said, wow, I had no idea you were a musician. No, they really didn't know. It just tells me that music is just something that, people nowadays really don't care about, which is really sad because that's part of the reason why we get our behinds kicked so bad in the culture. Well, they like music, but when it's like I'm proud to be an American, they like that one. They're ready to get up and start breakdancing for that one. Anyway, can't stand that song. I would have my drumsticks because when in the earlier days of war. Whom you would see out on the battlefield a lot of time are your drummers. Drummers would be out there because they needed, commands need to be conveyed over the noise of war. So the drummers would be out there, letting the infantry know what to do. With this political discourse we have now, I'd have my drum out there trying to bang the drum of truth, man, rise above the political noise, man, and see if I can bang that truth out. That was one of the reasons why I had my drumsticks, but I don't think a lot of people got it. Still drumming. Talking about these drummers right here is, something kind of, close to my heart. And I hope that I can offer some interesting perspective on it. So you guys have probably heard of this drummer named El Estepario. Fantastic drummer, man. Wow. He's got speed. His technique is tight, very clean. He's got great groove, excellent. And so he's not just a drummer who can play really fast. He's got incredible groove. All right, his pocket, and his accents, his flavor, what he colors his drumming with, the ingredients that he puts in it to make it really tasty, things like that. I mean, he's a top-notch drummer. Very versatile too. He can play metal, he can play funk, he can play jungle. It's like, so these styles that are, prominent today and things like that. I haven't heard him play like more traditional, so like maybe jazz or standards and things like that. But in terms of like maybe like Latin jazz or, kind of like very polyrhythmic, his independence is incredible. So he's all that to say, he's an amazing drummer, right? But here's this is one of the exceptions that I take with El Estepario. One, as far as I know, he really likes to smoke weed. It's, when you got drummers that, who are really impressed with you, like these younger drummers and stuff like that, I just think it's really bad that you use your platform to promote, something like that. Because smoking weed doesn't make you a better drummer. If you enjoy doing it, I get it and stuff like that. But, you got these youngsters seeing that and, to lead them in a direction like that, man, that's kind of sad. It's like you're already like one of the, probably one of the best recognizable drummers out there now. That's not enough of a high for you. It's like you have this amazing ability, which brings me to the other issue that I have with El Estepario, is that he doesn't understand that he has a talent. He thinks that he's gotten the way that he is because of diligent practice. And do not get me wrong, y'all, because practice, you gotta practice. Okay, you have to practice. But El Estepario he doesn't acknowledge that he has a gift. Okay, that's the thing about it. He doesn't acknowledge that he's been gifted. So, like, say for instance, he put out a video when he was like first starting drums. He claims that this is the video that he's done He's only been drumming for 6 months. This is him. He's a young man. He's drummed for 6 months. I've been playing drums for over 30 years. Okay, over 30 years. And what he was doing as a teenager in 6 months of playing, I am still not even close to being able to do. All right, that's not practice, dude. That's a gift. All right, you were born with a surplus of talent to be able to, that people who've been playing for even 40 years. I've been playing over 30. People who've been playing for aren't that good as you were when you were at 6 months. That's a gift, dude. You should be thanking God for that.
Yeah.
All right. But you say it's all you, and it's because of intense practice. After doing that for 6 months, and trust me, anybody who knows me, man, I didn't go anywhere without these. Everything was a drum to me. Everything's a drum to me. All right. I tap. It's like I'm tapping on everything. People know it's like so I wouldn't bug my neighbors. Practically every day, I would pack my drums into my van. I would go out to the desert and I would beat the crap out of for hours on it. Anybody who knows me, right, knows that drumming that's just what I do. That's what I do. I am nowhere near as good as this guy, and I practice intensely. Okay, I practically didn't have a grade point. I didn't have a grade point average in high school. I did so much school. You want to know what I was doing? I was drumming. All right, that's what I was doing. I would be in the band room. I would be hiding out in the band room on a pillow, right? Just practicing. You know, I was the poster child for too cool for school, too stupid for the real world. Maybe I'll start a band. I was in there drumming. All right. So for L to be telling people, no, I got this way because of practice. No, dude, you have a talent. You are gifted. A talent still has to be cultivated, though. Just because you're really good, you're born really good, you're born with a surplus pound beyond the average person, it doesn't still mean that you need to practice. You've taken your gift and you've refined it and you've taken it, and that's what you're supposed to do. When you have a talent, you refine it. Okay, you're not just born just automatically where you're just, you don't have to do nothing. You still got to practice. But it's sad that L. Estepario doesn't attribute these things to him having a natural talent. He was born with it. It's a gift, right? He was blessed with it, blessed with this natural talent, okay, going in. But unfortunately, he doesn't seem to understand, or maybe he doesn't want to recognize that. If he has to recognize that it's a gift, then he has to recognize that there's a higher power to be accountable to. And I don't think he wants to do that. He wants to, indulge and wants to indulge in, and wants to pretend that there's nobody to hold him accountable. Now, here's the thing. The reason why I say all that, y'all, the reason why I say this is because of L. Estepario's commentary on Riccardo Merlini. Okay, so understandably and rightfully so, L. Estepario is really impressed with Riccardo Merlini. Okay, and he is impressive. He's doing things with one hand, man. I'm talking clean. The strokes are strong. It's not even like a taxing of the volume. Like when he's playing, the power is there, even with the velocity of doing these things with one hand, where a lot of people can't even do with two. All right, his rebound and his drop and his recoil is just fast. And I've watched him try to explain it. He can't even really explain it. Like, trying to give like a tutorial. It's like, no, dude, you can't really explain. You can't convey what it is that you do because it's a natural talent that is rare to you. All right, it's a rare ability that you have. You may not be the only person who can do it, and another person may be able to who may be kind of close to there and practice and may be able to catch up with you. But what you have is you have a surplus beyond, far beyond the average person. What their nervous system is able to do, what their muscles are able to respond to. Okay, so you can go ahead and give a tutorial. Very, very, very few people will probably be able to achieve what you're able to do. Okay, unless they're already wired to do it. So, but the reason I'm saying this, y'all, I'll get more to that in a bit. And actually, before I do, let me thank folks who are joining on the Instagrams. I see 3 times Robin, Manuel Camacho, Robert the Ernest, Alan Page. Thank you guys so much for joining on Instagram. I hope you guys come over to bronzeserpentmedia.com. It's free. Become a member. And we hope to see you populate the powwows. What's going on?
Sonic Energy says, Zoe, your chopsticks make me think you're a big eater.
Well, I like to think that my chops are good. And I guess in a way they are chopsticks. But, very funny. And at least I know how to eat with chopsticks, too.
Funny.
These are kind of big.
You do know how to eat with chopsticks.
I do know how to eat, right? There's different methods of holding them. You know. Get my rice and my noodles. All right. Anyway. Chopsticks. So you made me forget what I was going to say, man. How dare you get me off my train of thought like that? But anyway, so I'm talking about this with L.S. DePario, and because the Riccardo Merlini, for what he's doing, it's so unique that, of course, there's a lot of people who believe it's fake. They believe it's somehow the video and the audio is sped up. Or it's AI, or there's something that's just, that's not authentic, and a lot of people don't want to believe it. Okay, so I've watched it, and I'm like, okay, this guy's, he's incredible, and this is what he's doing. Now, L is making the case for him, and L is saying, look, man, the proof is right there. Okay, the proof is right there. You got it on video. The guy, and these are, I'm paraphrasing, but these are the words that L.S. DePario is using. He's saying the guy has done the impossible. What was considered impossible, this guy is doing. He's done it. He's done what people deem as impossible, and he's trying to help lead the way for other people to achieve the impossible. This will become normal. This is L.S. DePario saying this. Okay, and despite this person showing you with evidence, he's got the evidence right there before you that he's doing these things. Their video is being slowed down. He's doing it with other things. He can do it with weights. He can do it with big drumstick. He can do it, right? He has demonstrated that he's able to. His muscles can respond this fast. So L.S. DePario is making this case for this person on how he's providing this evidence of him doing the impossible, and he wants to show people how to get to this new level of drumming. And then he's talking about the people. Are you guys seeing where I'm going with this? Are you seeing where I'm going? And then he's talking about people who are coming against him despite the proof that they can see, still don't want to believe. They don't want to believe it. L.S. DePario, dude, you're out there making one of the best cases for Christ. The one that you don't want to really believe in. The one that you say doesn't exist to give you the gifts that you have. What this person, Riccardo Merlini, has is a gift, dude. It's a gift. Not everybody can do this. It's a gift. Just like you have a gift, right? It's from God, and you refuse to recognize the one who gave it to you. And the one who has blessed you to be able to reach millions of people who are digging what it is that you do. And this is your message to them. Light up a joint and practice. That's your message to them? Wow, man. You're so blessed, man, and you give a middle finger to the one who blessed you. This guy, Riccardo Merlini, same, man. He's got a gift. And you don't want to recognize it. And you're talking about the people who are denying it? Denying the evidence that's put before them? Yes, Jesus was going through the same thing.
Yep.
Right? Now, do I believe that this person can do what he's just like I said, man, yeah. Some people, y'all, they're just born with a surplus of talent. You got people, you tell them when your birthday is, and they can tell you what day you were born on. It's a talent. Some people's brains are just able to have like this allocation of matter that can go ahead and calculate certain things at high rates of speed, where the average person can't do that. You have some people who can raise their eyebrows on both sides. A lot of people can't do that. Some people can. Okay? Some people are ambidextrous. Most people are right side dominant. Fewer people are left side dominant. Fewer people are ambidextrous. Okay? It's like a gift. You're able to equally use both hands. Right? Some people are born taller. and are better suited to play certain sports. Okay, some people have such good muscle control that they're a natural that they can stand like waves back some play and they can throw a ball and it'll go right into it. I sure as heck can't do that. I can stand right underneath the hoop and shoot the ball straight up, man. Got no arc to it. It'll go straight up and come back down. I have no sense of how to arc a ball into the basket. I suck that way, right? But some people, they can eyeball it and they just know that from sight, they know just exactly how much muscle to use and exactly what angle it's just calculated for them. And they can just do it. They still got to hone it. They still got to practice, right, to make it better. But they're already born in a zone where they can do that. It's a gift, man. All right. Now, this person has this gift of where his nerves are able to trigger his muscles for downstroke and respond to the recoil quickly. All right, he's talking about the angle of his wrist. It's like, well, I noticed that my wrist is able to, that ain't got nothing to do with it. Your wrist may be able to do that. Maybe at a certain rotation, your wrist at that angle can respond faster, but for anybody else, not necessarily. Okay, I mean, unless you're just really working, you're constantly working on reflexes at a particular angle. If you want to do that, how your hand is going to drop, whether it's going to drop this way, whether it's going to do the rotation, or whether it's going to do this extension and flexion action this way. Right? Who knows? Different drummers are going to talk about, what a better angle of attack is and stuff like that. But that's better for them. Okay? It may not be the same for everybody else. You may have to adapt to, like, if you're in a marching regiment or stuff like that, and everybody has to have the same particular form, so you're going to have to adapt to your muscles rotating a certain way, or if it's a certain regiment, they may want may want more flexion and abduction. As far as that goes. I think that's the right terminology for that. So how they're going to do that. Flexion extension. So all that to say, like, say for instance, and you can see things demonstrated, that kind of velocity. You can see that stuff demonstrated, like, say for instance, you guys have probably seen that picture, that video of that cat that wants to get inside, right?
Oh yeah.
And it knocks on the door with its foot. Okay, that would be an example of it. Now, a cat, its musculature is well endowed on its hind legs. Okay, and it's going to be, well fortified to respond if it needs to get away, if it needs to pounce or hunt and stuff like that. But it's got this wiring to make it to give it explosive speed, right? Explosive speed, and it can tap, recoil, and tap again like really fast. Like almost literally a roll. It's a drum roll. A cat can do a drum roll with one paw, right? Right? It can do that. So it's not, for an organism like a cat to be able to do that, it's not far-fetched that a human can do that too. And he's not using when he does this, y'all, it's not fulcrum dependent where he's putting the stick on the rim of the drum, right? And doing the single hand roll that way. I can pull that off. Praise be to God, finally, right? And then there's the single stroke roll where you're using your fingers, you strike down, okay, and then you come back up, strike down, come back up. As you strike that, you let gravity kind of do the work with a little assistance from your hand weight, right? Bam. And then as the stick is up, you just want to flex your finger back down, and it'll give you a second stroke, right? I can still just sticking it. I can only move about as fast as about the same speed. Okay, I haven't gotten there yet where I can really roll it. I can roll more of the fulcrum dependent single hand roll, but to do the this one right here, that's I haven't caught up with that one yet. But this guy is even beyond that, where he's able to just trigger that bad boy, even whether he's doing this or whether it's just a wrist action, whether it's just a wrist action or whichever. It's phenomenally fast. There's no exaggeration here. It's ridiculously fast. And like I said, I've seen a cat be able to go right? And that's, nobody says, oh, that's AI generated or anything like that. So no, you've seen this cat be able to do this. Well, this person, you talk about a person have like a cat-like reflexes. Riccardo Morlini, he has that. So anyway, y'all, that's my take on it. But the big takeaway of what I'm trying to say here, y'all, is that with L, dude, please reconsider, because you're making a case for him.
Yeah.
When you're talking about a person who's achieved the impossible, which Christ did, and is trying to help other people do the same thing through him, right? And you got people who are denying despite the evidence that was put before them. Well, dude, you're making the same case. So I hope you reconsider.
We got a couple of comments. Albert says they call those strikes gravity blasts.
Thank you.
That's quite a phrase.
Yes, gravity. And thank you, Albert. And the reason why I didn't use the term gravity blast is because then I would kind of have to explain it, what a gravity blast is. And a gravity blast beat, if I understand it correctly, I'm not really a death metal type drummer or black metal type drummer. So, well, you're black, you play metal, so it's not that.
Don't
Pay attention. Okay, gravity blast beat is it tends to involve double pedal action, but it's not like double pedal action like 30-second notes. The double pedal action tends to be more eighth notes, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, right? But as you strike down with one foot, you drop in a snare hit. So it's like boom, bat, boom, bat, boom, bat. So it's like between those, and you get to where it's really fast. So it's like, it's like it's like, you know, all this stuff pretty much originated like in America, like in the church, really. You know, when you get that do 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 do, come on, Jesus, do that, right? Or heck, man, you can even say it's a polka if you want to. When you get
yeah.
Right? Punk rock beats like started, you know, it's like polka was already doing that, really. But you get it to where it's like it's not just do chat, right? It's getting faster where you're going to involve another kick drum so you can maintain the speed. So you're just not doing one foot going do 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 do, right? You're going boom 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 boom, and it's like boom. Chat, boom, chat, boom, chat. So it's like you're just dropping, you're getting to a point where you're just kind of letting the stick fall. Let's just kind of like letting the, the gravity, just let the stick. So you're not trying to muscle it so much. You're just kind of just like lifting and dropping. There still has to be some muscle execution to it so you can get the projection, but, it's just that kind of fast, beat where it's just like, and some people, when they do it, there's different ways of doing it. Like, say, for instance, if I do kind of like a gravity blast like beat, like I said, I don't really practice death metal drumming. I'm more of a hard rock drummer than the more extreme metal kinds of drumming, which is now becoming just normal metal. It's not even extreme anymore. It's just normal. But like, say, for instance, if I do it like as a series of flams where it's like I'm holding this. I'm doing this, holding the snare hits down with this hand, and I'll do like one, it's like I do that one, right? I cheat, if you will. Some people, when they do it, they like to have the cymbal and the stick going. They like doing that one. Not because I'm being lazy, but I particularly like. If I'm going to do with one hand, I don't want my right hand doing the same thing. Because I want to hear the beat. And if you have like the left hand, let's say the left hand is doing 16th notes, I like for the right hand to do eighths. Or if the left hand is doing eighth notes, I like for the right hand to do quarter notes. Because I want to hear the beat. The beat to me is more articulate. I want to hear that. I want to hear those on 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 over the. I want to hear that pulse. That's why. So it's not out of laziness that I wouldn't do both hands doing the eighths or both hands doing the 16ths. I want one hand, right, giving that meter. Ba 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 ba. That's why. I like that because I want to hear the groove, man. I want to hear that pulse. You know what I'm saying? So, but some people may not appreciate that as much as some people who want to hear just both of them. Because it's like down picking. You know, down picking, it gives you more of the chop, and but at the same time, there's just this cultural approach to it. It's like, yeah, man, if you're down picking, man, you're hardcore, right? Like James Hetfield, he's always down picking, right? And Kirk Hammett, he got to down pick with them too, because they got to represent. You know what I'm saying? You got to represent with the down picking. So if you start, doing the alternate picking, it's like you're a chump, right? And so it's like the same thing with drumming. If you're not doing both hands, you're a chump. Because you got to be holding down them 16ths, man, with both hands, right? You can't be doing the one hand doing one thing and the other hand, holding it down. So, anyway, so that's my little take on it.
So I was in the chat, so I wasn't paying close attention to the names. Riccardo Merlini. I remember him. You showed me him.
Yeah.
Amazing. Estepario. By the way, Sonic Energy says Estepario needs to sober up. Is he the one you're mainly talking about, or was it Ricardo, or both?
It's both. I was bringing up
smokes weed.
Yeah, it's like people find him impressive because he's playing with one hand and he'll get like a something to drink with the other hand and then he'll light up a joint while he's playing and stuff like that. And so like I said, man, it's like, wow, dude, you're so blessed. You have this. You're a drummer. That drummers, man, pretty much all drummers in the game, not all drummers in the game, but many of them, wish they could be that good, a quarter of that good, right? And you got, like I said, you got the eyes and ears of millions of people, man, who are, even if they're not drummers, they're floored by what you're able to do. And that's not enough for you. I want to smoke weed too.
Yeah, he still needs to check out and get numbed.
Yeah, it's like, man, it's like for what you're able to do, dude, you want to escape from that? But and unfortunately, it's like sad enough is it sad that you think that actually enhances your experience? It makes it better for you? Man, no, it doesn't. You checked yourself out, while it is that you're doing that. And the thing is, man, that's how natural drumming is to you, where you can just check out, man, and you're just on autopilot and you're still playing. That's a gift, dude. That's a gift, man.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, a lot of people they've considered that their playing is enhanced by smoking. It's like you haven't the getting high isn't what gave you the talent. That's not what happened. You already had the talent.
Yeah.
The smoking the weed didn't make you better. So, but anyway, and that's just, like I said, that's just a sad, and it's an insult, man. It's so freaking insulting, man. That these people, they have to self-medicate. Despite all that they have. So blessed, man. And people like me, I can barely get like a couple of hundred views for the music that I try to do. Here I get ready to go, my butt hurt. Maybe you need to smoke a joint, Zoe, and get in a better mood. No. But yeah, it's really sad, man. People like this, they're able to do that, and there's people out there, like me, and there's other people, who are, trying to do their thing, and it can barely get any views at all. While these people enjoy that, but they got to get high too. It's just, it's gay, man. Anyway.
Jay Thompson says, didn't Def Leppard's drummer lose an arm and use electric and traditional drums to compensate? Did he use both on stage?
Before his accident, I don't know if oh man, I feel like a butthole that I can't remember his name. Is it Joe Elliott? What's the drummer for Def Leppard's name?
It was Rick something.
Rick. No, Rick is the bassist. Rick Savage. They might be Rick Allen. Okay, there's two Ricks in there, I think. Okay, Rick Allen. I don't know if he incorporated triggers and electronic drums before the accident. After the accident, then yeah, they incorporated electronic drums and triggers for him. And he's still a good drummer. He's still a good drummer. I hate speaking of him as a past tense, but he was one of those traditional grippers, man, and he could get down. And I wonder, I guess, one would ask is I wonder if Elliot has seen Estepario. It's like, what I think would be really neat is if they did a correspondence. Because El Estepario, he's got both hands, but it's like he's known for just like Slipknot calls him up and says, "Hey man, can you play this song with one hand?" He's like, "Okay," and he gets there and he just kills it with one hand.
Wow.
Right? So it'd be, what do you guys think? Would it be interesting, like if there was a correspondence between Ellis Estepario and who's like, hey man, you know, Ellis Estepario saying to Rick, you've been in the game for a long time, man. It's like, and you gotta, you don't have to, man, but you got my respect. You know, you got my respect, and you got your, and the band has our respect because they didn't, you know, be like, well, you know, man, we got to keep on moving forward. I guess we're going to audition for a new drummer. So they stuck by Rick, and Rick stuck with it, man. He reassociated how he's going to play drums and stuff like that. That's awesome, you know? And so it isn't like, you know, it would be any sort of awkward things. Like, look, man, you got my respect that you just kept on going. You didn't let this, you know, discourage you. And you kept going. I would like to offer you, you know, like, hey, you know, how, as you guys go maybe through like a next wave of music, you know, an approach to playing drums, you know, with one hand to be able to do, where you can get where you can get your foot back on the hi-hat more, you know, and use, you know, the snare more, you be able to get more out of your right hand, you know, than you ever have, you know, so you can be freed up to do more things with your drums, you know, and who knows, you know, it could spark maybe a new Def Leppard album, you know, who knows, you know, what they're able to do. So anyway, just something to consider. Okay. Thank you guys for letting me get that out of my system. Some drum talk, some music talk.
Well, some people went and watched it.
Yeah.
Because I put his name, the spelling of it, Ricardo Merlini, in the chat.
Particularly if you guys look up the audition video that he did for Arcspire, or if you want to look up the commentary that L. Estepario did on it, if you put L. Estepario discussing Ricardo Merlini, you'll get to see more of it. It's like some of the stuff that you see Ricardo doing, it doesn't really showcase what is that I was able to find. I couldn't really find the stuff that really showcased him until I saw him do the audition for Arcspire. And that was like, okay, wow. You know, I'm like, wow, you know, but hey, you know, and I hope Ricardo gets it. It's like, yeah, did you have you're just gifted, man. You've got this surplus of neurons that can fire, you know, and get your muscles to trigger in a way that the average person can't. Absolutely. You know, now here's the difference between L. Estepario and Ricardo Merlini. And L. Estepario will also, you know, full on say that his speed is not even close. He's not even close. So Ricardo Merlini is definitely and he's definitely got his playing is great. You know, I think I would say that L. Estepario's probably more of his strong suit, and I don't, you know, forgive me, y'all. This is me. I'm not trying to say one drummer's better than the other because they're both amazing, right? But different ones have different strengths and over, you know, to their playing and their style and their approach than the other. That some people may appreciate more than the other. If you're really, you know, about speed. Right, speed. Then Ricardo Merlini would be a figure for speed. L. Estepario definitely got speed. He's still far beyond what a lot of people, you know, can play. But groove. L. Estepario. For me, L. Estepario's sense of groove and how he flavors his drumming is definitely more my speed. And speaking of speed, if you're really into speed, Ricardo Merlini is, you know, that's like the guy to look to now. It's like, wow, dude, that guy's incredibly fast. Okay. Speaking of speed, wouldn't it be faster if we'd have caught up with these with these drones? Let's see. Let's go to trending politics news, and we got. Let me see. John Ferguson, the CEO of Wichita, Kansas, and you guys have probably seen maybe more since this. You've probably seen more development since this, but and I'd be curious, of course, to know what you guys think or what you guys have ascertained in terms of new information. John Ferguson, the CEO of Wichita, Kansas-based company Saxon Aerospace, offered a chilling theory on the massive uptick in drone sightings that have plagued New Jersey and surrounding areas. According to the company's website, Saxons Aerospace is a leading solutions provider for unmanned and autonomous remote systems technologies for the government, energy, infrastructure, agriculture, and private industry. The company manufactures numerous advanced drones that far exceed the majority of widely available basic retail drones in terms of range and battery life. In a lengthy video statement, Ferguson explained that during the dissolution of the Soviet Union in the late 1980s and early 90s, thousands of nuclear warheads were dismantled, particularly in Soviet satellite states. In 1997, a former Soviet nuclear official testified before the U.S. House of Representatives about the existence of small, suitcase-sized nuclear weapons. Alexander Lebed testified that only 48 out of 132 of the small nuclear weapons when arsenals were hastily dismantled. I believe there were over 80 nuclear warheads that were in Ukraine that came up missing. We don't know where they is. Maybe somebody does, but nobody really knows where these are. And I speak with some pretty high-level government officials about this stuff, and it seems as though that is the case, Ferguson went on to say. Okay, so now I'm listening to him, and this is some of the takeaways that I got from it. I still don't know what he's talking about. That's my takeaway. Because as an expert, he's saying that there's no reason for drones to be flying at night. Okay, there's no reason for drones to be flying at night. Since when do people not fly drones at night? Okay, and then he says, because they can't see anything. Well, I mean, isn't drones when they fly at night, isn't like surveillance? I'm assuming, forgive me if I'm being ignorant, man, I'm asking. Isn't kind of like one of the things that people are afraid of about drones, like flying in their proximity, is because of surveillance? It's like, what are you looking at, man? You know, it's like they're not taking. I mean, I got a camera that works in low light. You guys helped me get it too, and I'm itching to put that thing to work, man. I got to get my sales back. Need that support, man. I hope you guys continue support, which I thank you guys so much for. Trying to increase our audience, not trying to get more money out of y'all. And y'all know that I can't use the super chats, man. I can't use YouTube super chats. They'll steal your money, right? They take your money. So I don't do super chats. They'll take it. They will not pay it to me. They will flat out tell they put it in red letters. Red letters. We are withholding your money, and will not tell me why, and will not direct me where I'm supposed to collect them. AdSense and all that stuff. No. Right? So that's why I can't do super chats, y'all. I can't do them. All right? When we respond to y'all, we respond to y'all for free because we love you. Right? But I hope you all will keep them donations coming at bronzeserpentmedia.com because we need some, we could use the support, man. I'm trying to get this stuff done. I'm trying to make y'all the money that y'all support to me go someplace, man. Unfortunately, if it comes in too slow, man, I got to increase my outreach. I got that algorithm. But, okay, so these drones, man. So he says there's no reason for them to be out at night. Drones don't fly at night because they can't see anything. And then he says there's no reason for drones to be out at night unless they're looking for something. Wait a minute. You said they can't see nothing, but they're out looking for stuff. All right. Now, don't get me wrong, because I understand it's like we're talking about thermal optics and things like that. That there's other ways for them to see that's not dependent on conventional vision, if you will, image capture. So they're whether they have like gas, a kind of gas detector or heat detectors and things like that. So it's like you kind of lost me there for a second, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Now, what these drones are looking for, and before I go on, man, this is where Trump. This is where Trump and Trump supporters, man, please be careful, man, because this is the kind of stuff, man. The liberal, you don't know when liberals are setting you up for stuff, dude. You don't know when they're setting you up for stuff. Trump is saying, shoot those things out of the sky. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Don't get me wrong, man. I understand. It's Katie. We don't know what these things are, and you know, we don't know if they're a threat. We don't know if they're not. But here's the thing, man. A big falling object from the sky, that's a big threat. Okay, you want to make those things fall out of the sky? Okay, Trump, if you're telling people to go out there and shoot those things fall on somebody's house or fall on somebody, we're going to start all over again. Trump is out there and he's telling people to shoot these things down. He doesn't care about the American people. As long as people get out there and you're able to shoot at stuff and use their guns, that's all they care about. They don't care about the scene. It's like you got it now. Here it's going to start over again on the Second Amendment, right? And he should be impeached before he's even gotten in there because he's a liability to the American people. Why would you do that? Think this stuff through, man. You know, just before you get out there and pander to people who just want to get out there and shoot something. You know, you come to the South and we'll show you what time it is. It's like, dude. Now, don't get me wrong, man. In the South, you got a lot of rural areas and stuff like that. So, yeah, if you shoot it down, I guess it's no big deal. But, you know, telling people to shoot these down, but still, you got to be careful, man. You know, how we're gonna do that kind of stuff. You don't know what's inside those things. That thing hit the ground, man, and explode, and then what? You know, you don't know. So anyway, that's my take. Am I being unfair? You know, is that an unfair admonition of what I'm making here? You know, just get out there and start shooting them. And don't get me wrong, man, I get it. And I tell you, man, and you see, this is the thing. All this kind of stuff, man, is giving you a heads up. When the rapture comes, it's gonna be things like that. All right. When the dead rise first and they're up and they're hovering, you know, above ground, it's gonna be people shooting at them. Yep. People are gonna shoot at them, right? And we're gonna be trying to tell people, dude, you don't want to shoot at them, man. Those people, those were the dead in Christ who have arisen. All right, you don't want to shoot at them. And probably what's gonna happen is that they're gonna shoot at us for telling us not to shoot at them when we're trying to tell them the truth. It's gonna be. It's, man. But this gives you an example. You see these strange things floating up in the air. Shoot them! Okay. All right. So at any rate, now they're looking for, from what I understand, now this went from nuclear warheads to radioactive medicinal or medical material. Okay. So that's a leap in terms of things that were this is, I guess, reputable accounts that are coming forward about what is generating this radioactivity that these drones are looking for. Now, I reckon maybe the reason why it took so long for them to disclose what it is that they're doing was probably because they needed to make up a story, or no, well. It may be because they didn't want to cause, you know, public alarm. Well, the reason why drones are flying around is because they're looking for, you know, they're looking for a bomb. they're looking for a nuclear bomb. Okay, were they looking for this nuclear bomb around one of Trump's estates? Yeah. So is that
Basically, the eastern seaboard. I mean, it's going all around New York and New Jersey.
So they want to. If this thing is deployed, eastern seaboard.
Yeah, there's two separate stories going around, and Red 4 alluded to it. He said, I heard a theory today about those drones, that they are sniffers looking for radiation that would be associated with possible weapons-grade nuclear material. So the article you're reading right now is a guy who has been in contact with a high-level government guy, military guy, who literally had his hands on one of the nuclear warheads in Ukraine that has gone missing, and this one was headed for the United States from Europe, he said.
Which I guess would explain why you had those things out, you know, in the ocean. Now, but somebody says that they couldn't have been deployed from the ocean because
This guy, yeah, in this article, he said that.
now, all right. To which I would ask, and thank you for y'all who have served and help us to understand these things in the chat. Now, he's saying so you're going to have some drones that are gas powered, and some by battery. Now, let's say that these are gas powered drones. He's saying that there's not enough fuel for a drone to get to where I guess they're thought to be out at sea, and then get to land. I'm no expert in drones, y'all, but I'm asking. Just like our jets tend to have reserve tanks, would a drone also have a reserve tank that it can go ahead and start its flight towards the shore, and when it's going to exhaust its fuel, it taps into its reserve tank, and then dumps that tank, right? And then has a contingent reserve tank for getting it back, like it has before it exhausts. Its fuel, it has enough fuel for it to go ahead and get as far as it needs to get out to sea, and then taps into that contingent tank, and then is able to get back to where it goes. Can drones work like that too? I'm asking.
A big enough drone can hold a lot of things, including a reserve tank of fuel, says Red 4.
Okay. So maybe that's how they did it. If this thing is if it's making a weapon that's making our way, then I guess that's why they would be. Maybe is that why they would be out at sea looking for them out there, and looking for and maybe going along the shoreline to examine the ports of where this thing would dock. Where this ship would dock.
Yeah.
I'm asking. Let's see. So I think you guys get the gist of it. At least we know. Or I think maybe we do. I don't know. I think this is still speculation, right?
It is, but there's a separate story out, and this is in the Epic Times, that a small amount of radioactive material went missing during transit from a cancer treatment center in New Jersey, according to a report from the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission. And it happened December 13th that this company reported this. It was all in a container. It made it sound like a semi-container. And that container was empty. So, and this company is like, we do not know what happened. We're just reporting that the contents is a nuclear material, I guess. I can't find it. I'd have to read down in the article, but a radioactive material, the source of radioactive material, it's just gone. It's from a device used in PET scans in this hospital, and somebody emptied this material. And
once again, I'm no nuclear physicist, y'all. I'm asking. So the material is would somebody and kind of hard to ask this question without feeling like I'm contributing to some sensationalism and stuff like that. I'm asking because I really want to know. Is it the kind of material that somebody would try to refine?
That was my thought.
They want to refine it to make it, for a weapon. Would that be the motive for stealing it? What do you guys think? Let me know if I'm off base or if that's a plausible thought. Okay. So you guys,
I think these are plausible, though. I think that's why the drones are out there. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Or like I said, man, it's they've been out there flying for like a month or something. Like either they didn't want to tell people.
November 18th. Yeah. Oh, you just made me think of something. Okay, so I was thinking that this is They've been flying around since November 18th, which is what everybody was reporting 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember that because they were talking about are those the same drones that were at the White House?
Yeah.
Okay.
This article says that radioactive material on December 3rd. Well, the article doesn't make it clear what date.
What were you thinking, though?
that this radioactive material disappeared on December 13th. That would be after the drones started sniffing around.
Was it yellow cake?
No, Hillary Clinton's in charge of selling all that.
All right. Let's see. What else we got here? Texas AG Ken Paxton sues New York abortionists for mailing abortion drugs. Let's read a little bit of it. A little bit of it. All right. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has filed a lawsuit against. Get back up there, Paige. We're trying to generate an ad. All right. Against. Why did I see that word against? Against. Okay, a New York physician accusing her of illegally sending abortion-inducing drugs to residents in Texas. Oh, actually, you know, how rude of me. Thank you guys for joining us over on the YouTubes and on the website, bronzeserpentmedia.com. And thank y'all for joining us here on Instagram. We got Bishop, what was that? Bishop Bishop Anthony. Bishop Anthony Pelt. You guys are keeping me sharp. All right. Thank you for joining, man. We got Hubison, 1994, Rob Paul Palladino, Forever Claude, Kirk Wyatt, Busy Boy Drafting. Okay, yeah, gotcha. 3 times, okay, and 3 times Robin, Manuel Camacho. All right, thank you, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. bronzeserpentmedia.com, and hope that you guys will become regulars. All right, so back to the news, or something like it, because that's all I can give is something like the news. If you guys came here for the news, you got low standards. And I lost. Did I lose my page already? No, that was the wrong. That's not the one I want. Yeah, this one. The lawsuit targets Dr. Margaret Margaret Daly Carpenter, identified as a New York physician and founder of the Abortion Coalition. What a proud thing! Such a proud thing to name your organization. Abortion Coalition, loud and proud. Okay, pride is gay. Coalition for Telemedicine, Paxton said in a statement. Carpenter unlawfully provided a Colon County resident with abortion-inducing drugs that ended the life of an unborn child and resulted in serious complications for the mother, who then required medical intervention, the statement added. Okay, so check this out, y'all. You got these liberals, these Democrats, and this is the stuff that Trump wants to make legal, right? He wants people to have access to this mail-in.
Yes, yeah. He says he's not going to outlaw it.
He's not going to outlaw this. And hopefully, he did say something to the effect of.
Yeah, the other day he said, but things can change.
Okay.
Which I like.
That's more like it. All right. It's like, come on, Trump, don't get weak on this, man, and be like, the reason why people, because it was really, he went with this. Basically, y'all, it was disappointing where he went weak on his abortion stance. He went weak on it. All right. Why? Because the issue was an inconvenience to his campaign. Right? And the sad thing is that's why people abort their children, is because they're an inconvenience. So that's that. So for him to do that, it was like, man, that really rubbed the wrong way, man. He said, you acted like a liberal here. All right. And to make this where it's like, yeah, I'm not going to ban that. It's like, dude, stand strong. Who are you appealing to?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Well, actually, I know who he's appealing to. He's appealing to his wife. It's most likely what it is, because Melania is pro-abortion, right? And this is really sad. It's the First Lady of the United States, and you want to use, the position, the standing that you have in the world, and yeah, aborting kids, I'm all about it. That's really sad. So now the lawsuits targets Dr. Okay, read that already. Now, here's the thing, y'all. Liberals want us to be able to have, you can mail this abortion stuff across state lines. Insurance companies can't compete across state lines, but you can have the health care abortion, right? Because abortion is health care, right? You can have the health care of abortion. You can mail your abortion stuff across state lines, but insurance companies can't compete. And then they want to complain about the abortions, the insurance companies being a monopoly, right? And a monopoly that they're totally okay with the state having. We're okay with a state insurance monopoly, but not a private sector. In the private sector insurance, it would be just as bad. The state monopoly of insurance is worse. But rather than just letting insurance companies compete, nationally and across state lines, you guys have set yourself up for high insurance rates. You set us all up for that.
Yeah, they did.
Higher insurance rate, lesser quality care. That's what we got with your Obamacare. That's what we got with your demand for universal health care.
Yep.
That's what we got.
Thank you.
And you think that that's capitalism. Not even close. And that's why I keep trying to tell y'all, Democrats don't want to do away with capitalism. They don't want to do away with capitalism. They don't want to do that because they want to use capitalism as a patsy. Right? Blame capitalists. Blame the capitalists. Blame the bourgeoisie is what they want to be able to do. Right? And suckering the people into thinking that socialism is a way when they're never really wanting to implement socialism. Because if they do, then they can't blame capitalism.
Yep.
And the thing is, we haven't had capitalism. Anybody complaining about capitalism and these leftists and stuff like that, you never even experienced capitalism. You've never known it. We haven't had capitalism here for decades. All right? So they don't even know what they're talking about. Oh, capitalism is so evil. You never even experienced it. The thing that's hurting our economy so bad is people implementing socialist policies without us being socialist.
Yes.
All right? That's what's being done. Okay? So with the insurance not being able to compete across state lines, but these people can sell mail abortion stuff over. Also, I think is kind of strange is that you got these pro-abortionists out there who are okay with this pill. They're okay with this pill that a person in the privacy of their own home, can take, and the effects of this drug is basically going to make you feel like you're going to crap out your own lungs. All right, this stuff is going to kick your behind, man. It is going to, right? You're just going to have a bloody chunk party. So, and which is dangerous.
Yes.
The pain,
absolutely.
right? The pain, the loss of blood, the damage it's going to do to your tissues, to your tissue, in your plumbing. Okay, it's gonna do some nasty work on you. It's gonna be some days of, it's gonna be torture. And all that to say, y'all, you got these feminists and these liberals that are okay with this person taking this pill, which is gonna rip them up inside. You would think they would be as outraged about this pill as they would be about coat hangers. That's what this stuff is, man. It's a freaking coat hanger in a pill. That's what they should call it. It's a coat hanger tablet. Hashtag coat hanger tablet. Yep. Is what it is, right? So, but are these people outraged about that? And obviously this person required medical intervention. You know, I'm telling you, man, what women go through taking this thing. And the thing is, man, you must have such a disregard for life, and you must be such a coward, such a coward. You're so afraid of a baby that you would take a pill that is going to put you through. You might as well have just given birth, because the pain The pain of what it is to take that pill and what your body's going to go through to supposedly end your pregnancy. You're not ending your pregnancy. You're ending a human life. And you're probably ending your chance to get pregnant again too. Yep. Which, if that's your mindset, I think there's only one good case for abortion. If you're the type of person who would kill your kid, then yeah, you shouldn't be a parent. That's the only good. It's like if you're the type of person who would abort your kid, then yeah, you should. But that's not the answer, though. Aborting your kid is not the answer. But once again, I think it's really strange that you have these women that don't want to carry a child to term. I guess because they don't want to go through the struggle of giving birth. But they'll go through the struggle of this. That's freaking stupid. It's stupid and it's cowardly. And cowardice tends to make people do stupid things. But you would rather subject yourself to that than you would rather subject yourself to this horribly painful, unnatural process. Yeah. Than to just do the natural process of just giving birth. Right? But, y'all need Jesus.
Yeah, and that's why Ken Paxton was able to bring this civil lawsuit, is because this young lady who took the abortion pill, she has major complications from it, and she ended up in the hospital.
Well, girlfriend, and it says a lot that, even though that you subject yourself to this and you basically brutalized your kid to death.
Yeah.
You know what? We'll still help you out. But yeah. Okay. What else we got?
I hope he wins. I hope he wins.
Yeah. Right. And I hope she learned. I hope you'll become a voice. For the unborn. So there's that. Next, we have The Chosen sparks controversy as critics label scene between Jesus and Judas unbiblical. Of course it is. But let's check it out. Let me close this tab so it won't hog up all my memory. Open up this page in the Christian Post and get a little bit of the gist, The Chosen has sparked controversy after a sneak peek from the upcoming season of the series showed dialogue between Jesus Christ and Judas Iscariot, which some have criticized as unbiblical. What? I burped because the word of God is delicious. The word of God is delicious. It's a feast. When I eat of the word, I burp with satisfaction, right? Yes. Last week, showrunner Dallas Jenkins previewed a scene from the upcoming season slated for release in April 2025, depicting a brief moment between Jesus and the disciple who would eventually betray him. Okay, before I read on with the dialogue, now you guys, you've heard me express my thoughts on The Chosen. And I fall back on this. I don't watch the show. I saw one episode, and like I said, I don't know Dallas Jenkins, but I've hung out enough with him to be like, yeah, not somebody that I really want to know. Like I said, I don't watch the show. I saw the first one. It's okay. There's too much letting the devil take a foothold concerning the whole production, the operation, and stuff like that. It's like, I'm not seeing Christ really being at the center of what it is that you're doing, and who you involve yourself with, and whom you involve to produce the show and all that sort of stuff. It's a lot of it is like a conflict of interest, of kingdom interest, as far as I'm concerned. However. It doesn't mean that I'm saying that the show, I'm in a way, I'm glad the show is popular. I hope the show, just keeps on going. But the thing is, Licorice, do your job. Sorry. That'll make sense maybe at some point. because they are doing their job. They're using their resources to make the name of Jesus known. And that's what's important. Okay, they have this show that's going that is illustrating a narrative, of their interpretation or whichever concerning this figure Jesus. The name is what we're trying to get out there. Okay, that's what they're doing. I respect and I appreciate that. Even the Lord is like, hey, that's the thing. Okay, they're not against. If they're not against me, and all that sort of stuff. Of course, those things have to be squared by lukewarmness. Hey man, if you're lukewarm with me, I'll spit you out of my mouth. So those things have to be squared by that. But as it is, it's a popular show, and people are being exposed to this person, Jesus. They have the responsibility to go read about him themselves. But in terms of the effectiveness of getting the name of Jesus out there, they're doing that. Okay. So I can totally appreciate that. Also, if you're going to do some storytelling and you're going to make a teleplay, you're going to make a movie, you have to be able to, there's going to be some liberties, some creative liberties that you're going to take to make the storytelling interesting. Okay, you have to do that. There's certain ways that you're going to have to the way you're going to have to stylize scenes and how people interact with each other and the characters that you're giving and their attributes, how they're going to behave, all that kind of stuff, to give nuance to each one of the characters and the chemistry that they're going to have with each other and all that sort of stuff, man. You got to have that in order to make this a successful product. Unfortunately, in doing so, it's kind of like food. To make this something that's going to successfully fly off the shelf, you're going to have to include some ingredients in it that aren't good for you. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing, even in making a biblical narrative, unless you're really, really creative, man. It takes, you got to really tap into some creativity. To make food, just real food, natural, right? To give it that effect that when you eat it, you're having this experience where just the right amount of the balance of savory to sweet, where the body or the mind is, or the brain is picking up on them glutamates, and them sodiums, mixed together to give you just this awesome, palate, the right amount of starches, and your brain is just saying, yeah, that's what I'm talking. You know what you're doing. I know what all that stuff is. Yeah, right. It takes a talent to be able to put that, and it's doable. It's doable to be able to work them things together, man, where you have this natural food that's delicious, and your body is just like, I know everything that you're eating right now. Okay, I got all the compounds in it, man. I can dig it. As opposed to people taking an easier road to achieve this bliss point with their food. And putting these ingredients in there, and preservatives and these different kinds of flavor enhancers and things like that. And by the time it gets to the shelf, you basically you don't have a food up there. You have an addictive substance. It may be delicious. It's not particularly good for you though, and that's kind of like what The Chosen is doing. It's not giving you the real, Paul talks about the meat, man. He talks about the meat, the real food. All right. And you can make it, man, where you know how to, savor that stuff and, have a recipe of how you're going to, hook this stuff up to give, a really tasty entree, if you will. But see what these dudes are adding is they're adding these other ingredients, man, to try to make this stuff hyper palatable. To make it to where people just keep coming back for, basically for junk food. Yeah. It's really what the show is, y'all. It's junk food. But like I said, it's junk food with Jesus on the thing. So it's like the name of Jesus is getting out there, and that's what's important. Okay. Now also, when we're talking about taking creative liberties, y'all, I totally get that. And the Lord tells us to be salt and light. We're supposed to make things flavorful. Salt and light. We're supposed to do the things that you're supposed to shine the light on it, man. It's supposed to be like a neon light. You know, you want it to be attractive. That's what we're called to do. Salt, we're supposed to preserve. Salt, we're supposed to make it tasty. Okay, that's what we're supposed to do with the word, man. Get it out there and present it in different ways where people find it digestible. All right, and I just saw on Instagram, Micah 3 Toy. He asked, "So where you been? Where y'all been?" No, he asked, "Where you been?" I've been here. I'm shadow banning. Shadow banning.
Yeah.
It's my content has been suppressed for years. And on a side note, before I continue, I'm glad you asked that, man, because you guys have probably heard of a guy named Stephen Gardner. Everybody likes Stephen. I like Stephen Gardner. He's good at what he does. You know, and he has such an approachable way of doing it, right? But one thing that rubs me wrong about Stephen Gardner, he's wishy-washy about some stuff, man. But for the most part, he does a really good job. Nobody's perfect, you know. But it bugs me, man, when he tries to talk about like shadow banning or his content is being suppressed. It's like, Stephen, man, there's no suppression happening to you that's really worth talking about.
Yeah, if you have an audience that can hear you and see you
Yeah.
talking about the fact that you're suppressed, you are not suppressed and shadow banned.
You're not suppressed or shadow banned. It's, Stephen, listen to me, baby. You get super chats. You get super things. When you're doing your live stream and people are listening to you, like over 1,000 people and stuff like that are listening to you and giving you money in your super chats and stuff like that, you ain't shadow banned, dude. If you're able to make a living, okay? When shadow banning hits you, it's pretty much down to just a labor of love. All right, if you're like me, like I'm still doing this. And praise be to God that I have supporters who try to help us keep us going, and I really thank you for it. You know, but Steven's talking about like, you know, the algorithm is against him, and it says like he'll say that on one side of his mouth, right? Talk about how his content is being suppressed and stuff like that, and then go on and boast about he's got more views than CNN and MSNBC. Right? Which I guess maybe ain't saying much, but still, it's like, that's right. I'm bigger. He's like, I'm bigger than CNN. I'm bigger than MSNBC. I've got more views. I get way more views than they do. My content is being suppressed. Steven, come on now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, no, dude, you're not shadow banned. When you're shadow banned, dude, it kills your career and you become a ghost and you become invisible and people will not see you. And just like Micah came in, it's like, man, where you been? People, they say, dude, I haven't seen you for years. I went looking for you and I cannot find you.
Yep. You get that a lot. I went looking for you and I can't find you.
Some people actually went and looked for it. Shadow banning is the effect of it is out of sight, out of mind. When it hits, people forget about you like that. You're gone. They don't remember you anymore. Right? Some people, they may still want to remember. They may want to try to, you know, say, hey, what happened to you? Wow, I typed in Alfonso Rachel. I can't seem to find him anywhere. You know? Google has me masked out. I'm not in cross references in Google and things like that. So, you know, yeah, shadow banning it's a career killer. So anyway, note to Stephen Gardner, you're not shadow banned. You're bigger than CNN now, you know? So anyway, what was I saying? Let me see.
Did you read the dialogue that everybody's upset about?
Oh yeah, I'm getting there. Okay. I'm getting there, folks. You know I got to do my jaw jacking first. But
you gotta do the setup.
We're talking about, I'm talking about creative liberties here. If you're gonna tell a story, I get that, man. Be creative. Be creative. But at the same time, stick to the script. You're getting outside of the character of Jesus. I can understand to kind of fill in some dialogue, but the dialogue that you fill in has to be consistent with the character of Jesus. It has to be consistent with his ministry. It has to be consistent with the prophet, with the prophetic profile of Jesus and what he's going to do. What's going to happen to him, right? Even down to who's betraying. Those things were foretold and all those sorts of things. All right. So you can be creative with the inner dialogue between what's written and to try to keep a pace of the story and stuff like that. But man, it still has to fit the character profiled by the word of God of Yeshua ben Elohim. You don't go outside of that. I mean, you can, it's just not a good idea, you know? So all that to say, in this preview, Yeshua says, the Yeshua figure is saying you have a choice to make, Judas. In which Judas challenges Jesus to reclaim his birthright. Who you belong to? Who has your heart? I want it. And I've had it before. You follow me willing. Now, okay, so there, now some would ask, well, did Jesus ever really have Judas's heart? Was Judas ever really with Jesus? Well, I recall Jesus saying, I chose the 12, didn't I? Y'all remember that? Jesus takes account for it's like, yeah, I picked him. He knew what he was doing when he picked Judas. He knew what he was doing. Right? Now, if Judas decided, Judas still has free will. If he decided that he wanted to lose his grip on the Lord don't lose his grip on people. People can lose their grip on him. Right? And Judas lost his grip. So, but Jesus knew what he was doing when he picked him. So when he's telling, you have a choice to make, that's not how the dialogue went. Even if you want to take creative liberties, there's nothing that lends to that. Okay? Because Jesus then already made it clear. One of y'all here is going to betray me. He didn't introduce anything about one of you guys. He didn't say anything to the effect of one of you guys in here has a choice. Right? No, he says, oh no! She. You don't have to kill her, Licorice. Oh, I feel bad.
Should I go get it or no?
It sounds like she let her go. Okay, let me let you guys know what I'd be laughing off as I'd be looking off a camera. Like you, we're okay. So I'm in my workshop, right? It's like 1,000 square foot workshop, and we live in a rural area, by the river and stuff. And all that said, there's wildlife. And so I guess, well, this wouldn't be a church mouse because it's not exactly quiet. We have a mouse in here, and I just, I leave it alone and let it do its thing, man. But because I have let it got comfortable. Let's just say it got comfortable. And you guys may have noticed, like in the last couple of episodes, I'd be like, because this mouse gets up on my desk, and it's like, oh man, and it's running around back and forth and whatnot, and it's like, look, man, I can't have this thing jump on me on camera, So I have like a squirt bottle. I like squirt it to get it off on it. But it's determined that it wants to be up here on my desk. It wants to be, as the Word of God says, hey, minister to all of creation. So I guess it wants to be ministered to. But it's a little distracting. And so we have 3 cats, right? Disco Jaja, which is, that's my baby. And Kool-Aid, can't stand her. Anyway, Kool-Aid, she's funny. And Kool-Aid, and no, she's still got it because the mouse might still want to come up here on the desk. Just, I'm trying to figure out what to do about this because, anyway, and then there's LaFonda Licorice. Now, I have Licorice out here it's because Licorice is on patrol. She's to make sure that this mouse doesn't want to get up on my desk. So if she sees the mouse trying to come over here, it's like, but I don't want her to kill the mouse. I don't want her to kill it. But most likely she's going to kill this mouse. But what do you guys say? I I don't have time to take a mouse as a pet. You know, it's just in here, and I don't want to hurt it. You know, I don't want to kill it. I like animals, man. I like animals. You know, but it is kind of a pest. You know, it doesn't have any boundaries. You know, it's get up on my table and poop on my table. It's like, you know, it's like, come on, man. So you know, Licorice is, she, like I said, she's on patrol. And she's doing a great job. The mouse hasn't come up here yet, but I just saw her fly by and just totally tackled that mouse and slam it up against the wall, and then proceeded to walk off the other way with the mouse in her mouth, and you know, most likely to go and kill it. But I think she let it go and went chasing it because, you know, cats do that. They'll catch it, and then they like to do a lot of catch and release as part of how they're going to kill their prey. And so that's probably what she's doing right now. And I'm like, anyway, back to the Chosen.
Jay Thompson says LaFonda Licorice sounds like a member of the Mod Squad. That's true.
Yeah, she kind of is. You know, yeah, it's. I won't go into how she got her name, but she, you guys, you saw Napoleon Dynamite. And she reminds me of LaFonda, so it's like, yeah, okay, she reminds me of LaFonda, and but initially I called her, but she also looks like. She's like this slender, very sleek cat, and she just looks like a vine of licorice, you know, so LaFonda Licorice.
Jay has a very important notification. Important.
You start to sound like me.
He says most mice in the West Coast and Midwest carry hantavirus. What about in the South, Jay?
Yeah.
We're in Texas. Please let us know.
I know, right? It's like, kill that thing, and then we'll put you in the microwave for a little while to kill any viruses that you might have. And, you know, that'll be your decon chamber. You'll be all right. Just maybe like 5-7 seconds in the microwave. I'm gonna leave the Peter. How dare you? Probably more humane than what you guys do to your animals. But anyway, okay. So with Judas. So when it says that Jesus, you got Jesus saying, Judas, you have a choice. No. Well, yeah, of course Judas had a choice. But in the dialogue that Jesus has with Judas, that doesn't fit with the character of the dialogue that Jesus had with Judas. Jesus said flat out, yeah, one of y'all is going to betray me. And that's just the way it is. All right, the Lord has already foreseen this. This has already been set up. Okay, remember, y'all, God has always known us. He's always known us. Now, he's meaning that he's always known our will. Our will, and y'all don't misunderstand me, because I am not putting us on level with God. But understand that our will has existed as long as God has, because he's always known us, right? Our will, he's always known. So he's always known what we were going to do. Okay? He didn't make us to sin against him. Okay, that would be entrapment. Even if God does cause somebody to sin against him, they were already doing something that warranted God to bring this judgment against them. Like, say, for instance, Pharaoh. All right, Pharaoh in the Exodus. But in this case right here with Judas, God already knew before the earth was made. He already knew Judas. He already knew Judas would betray him. He already knew his will. He didn't make Judas to betray him, but he knew what his will was going to be, and he knew how to use that will. That will of Judas was instrumental in our salvation. You know what I'm saying? So Judas, his will was he had already decided what he was going to do. That's just where he was. So in terms of making a choice, he could have chosen not to betray Jesus. He could have chosen to not have this attitude towards Jesus that was going to do. But my point is that Jesus then already made the statement. It's clear. You're going to betray me. You are going to. You feel me? Now listen. You are going to betray me. Jesus didn't talk about some choice. Right? He didn't ask him, hey, Judas, are you thinking about betraying me? Hey, Judas, you sure you don't want to think twice about betraying me? No, Judas. Hey, one of y'all is going to betray me. Who is it? The one who I dipped this bread with, man, is going to betray me. Is. And then addressed Satan. Dressed him using the name Satan. Right? Then he didn't say, hey, you have a choice to leave this table and go off now and run off now. He says, no. He said, hey, Satan, do what you're going to do and do it quickly. I ain't giving you a choice. I ain't giving you a choice or whether you're going to do it quickly. You're going to do it slow. Do what you're going to do it quickly. That's what Jesus said. That was his attitude. It wasn't like this touchy-feely, you have a choice to make, Judas. Right? This weenie Jesus that they be trying to make, man. It's like, come on, man. Making them all soft. So that right there is outside of the character of the dialogue that Jesus had with Judas. They make Judas out to be, he's kind of like, I don't know, this hapless, from what I saw, he's like this kind of like hapless, bumbling tag along and stuff like that. No, dude, the character of Judas in the Word of God is that Judas thought he was more righteous than Jesus. He thought he knew better. He thought he knew more about righteousness than Jesus does. Trying to admonish Jesus, saying, man, don't you know that perfume, man, that could have been used for a day. That could have been traded for a day's wages and all that sort of stuff. Jesus like, man, Judas, you need to shut up and leave this woman alone. That's her property, not yours. You don't tell her what to do with her property. Y'all remember that? That's what Jesus said. Jesus said, this is her stuff. What she does with it ain't none of your business. Democrat. Always thinking that somebody else needs to do with their stuff, what you think they should be doing, and talk about their stuff like it belongs to you. And you stealing from the treasury anyway, Democrat. Right? You don't care about what she got, man. You don't care about the poor. Isn't that what Jesus said? That's the attitude that he had. It's like Judas, he'd be schooling Judas. Don't be talking to Judas, oh, Judas, I wish I had your heart. Come on, man. So it's like, why is it Jesus? Jesus knows how to express. He knows how to express when he's being sentimental. So you don't need to try to make Jesus all more. You don't need to do that. Jesus is a man's man. Jesus. Even when Jesus has like John leaning on his chest and stuff like that. They probably want to make that Jesus. John is all snuggled up to Jesus. It's like, no, Jesus probably had it like in a headlock. Come here, boy. Leaning on to the, giving them noogies and stuff like that. Probably got a hose like, it's like, just kind of like a father would with their kid. It's like, come on, man, or uncle with their nephew or whichever. It's like, yeah, get on here, boy. Just have them, in a hole. Must tussle in his hair and stuff like that. Right? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I'll put you in a sleeper, something like that. But you know what I'm saying? But try to make it all like soft, cuddly, snuggly Jesus. Come on, man. No. Like I said, man, it's we have this this fatherly love that Jesus has for us, and we're his children. Totally, but they make it weird. This kind of movement that they have, this soft, effeminate, my boyfriend Jesus, kind of stuff. This Taylor Swift Jesus, that
Taylor Swift Jesus,
that she wants to break up with. I don't know. So anyway, moving on, not moving on, but to continue. So and then he says that then I will pray for you. That's not in here. Didn't we just say? Didn't Jesus just say, "Go do what you're going to do and go do it quickly"? He didn't stop to be like, "Father in heaven, I pray that Judas doesn't go do this." Right? Judas, I'm before as with you as a witness, I'm praying to my Father right now that you don't go do this. Or I'm praying for anything else. But no, I seem to recall Jesus saying something to the effect of, the person who does this, it'll be better if they weren't born. I think that's what Jesus said. Yeah, Jesus said it'd be better for this person if they were never born.
Yeah.
Jesus didn't say, I will pray for you. It's like, no, dude, it'd be better if you weren't even born. Yeah, that's what Jesus said. So you see what I'm saying, y'all? Now, if they wanted to stylize how the Jesus figure would have delivered that, if they want to talk about, if they want to, go into that, because I'm telling you, man, that dialogue that Jesus had with Judas, that's quite riveting. And that right there, to be able to play that out on screen, y'all, I find that way more interesting than what they did. That's way more interesting. So for Jesus to be, it's like, look, man, hey, Satan, because he's like, Satan, I want you to hear this. Since you're gonna use Judas, I want you to hear this, Satan. I know you want to murder me, but man, I am in such command of this that you will not even get to murder me the way that you want to. You will have me murdered according to how I tell you to do it. That's how gangster Jesus is.
Yeah.
All right, you gonna try to murder me? You ain't gonna get the satisfaction of doing it the way that you want to do it. And I'm gonna go Obi-Wan Kenobi on you, because when you have me struck down, I will become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Right? And it's like, but no, they wanted to where Jesus, touchy-feely Jesus, and I will pray for you. And yo, hey man, ain't nothing to slight at in terms of Jesus praying. I mean, hey man, he's our high priest, man. He's the one who receives our prayers. He's the one who our prayers are filtered to get to God. He's our actual word perfect. All right. So it's like, you definitely want prayers from you. You want the Lord to hear from you. We want the Lord to hear from us, and convey these things to the Father. Yeah, we want that. But in this case right here, Jesus didn't tell Judas that he was going to pray for him. Told him to get gone and say that, man, it's better if you weren't even born. All right. So that's how that goes. What do you guys think? I reckon there's a lot of people that are hard on the chosen, and but they kind of set themselves up for it.
Well,
but
the dialogue is cringe.
Yeah, it's cringe dialogue, man. But it's to appeal to people who are looking for some, touchy-feely Jesus. There's people who are sold on love, right? That's the selling point. It's all accepting.
Disney theology.
Yeah, it's like, this Disney theology, it's all accepting, it's mercy, and that's what people want. They don't want to feel judged, they want to feel loved and accepted for no matter what. And that's what this show sells. But like I said, it's spiritual junk food. At the end of the day. And once again, man, I hope y'all support, man. Because I'm wanting to get in this arena too. I have a season's worth of production with the Zopium Den. As we do, it's an expository approach to the Bible in a comedy show. We're going to go through the Bible chapter by chapter, verse by verse, and do comedic illustrations, promoting the Word of God, illustrating the contractors, the skeptics, taking arguments that they have and showing why they're absurd, and using comedy to counter them, with the Word of God, to show how it is the truth. And I hope that y'all, support. I hope this is something that you really want to see compete in the market. Because I'd like to see more productions out there like this. And I hope people just get a clue that, even with this, we want to keep them in our prayers. And look, man, you don't have to portray Jesus, in this way that appeals, to that panders, to these sentiments that people would have, these inclinations that people would have. Tell Jesus for who he says he is.
Yeah.
It's a much better Jesus.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. And then, let's see. AI chatbots inciting users to die. Suicide reports like, man, are we getting closer to Soylent Green or what?
Right.
Let's read a little bit of this here. Close that. Open that. Hey, Licorice, if you're not too busy chasing that mouse, there is also a wasp in here if you want to get it. There's wasp like it in here too. We just got Animal Kingdom up in here.
Yep.
So there's wasps also, and if licorice you want to get so your acrobatics on, go ahead and track it down.
There was one over here, and I had my eye on it. It was on its back, so I didn't see it as a threat. So
they just like to hang out here until I don't know. They like it here. Well, I mean it's cold out, so they want to be where it's warm. I get it. It's not like they're being aggressive and stuff like that. I mean, they do want to buzz around my head, but they don't want to
Did he fly by you?
Oh yeah, that thing's buzzing me all the time. I keep trying. It's like, get out, man, get out. It's like, because it's like they want to go where the light is. But it's like, even if it's light and warmer out, they don't want to go out. They like it in here.
They like it in here.
I mean, it's like, this is my workshop, man. I'd be banging on my drums, man, and turning on my music and stuff like that. They just, they want to be in here. Like, all right. Yeah. Anyway, and speaking of Jesus, and that's one of the reasons why I'm tolerant. I'm tolerant of wasps. I tolerate them because the Lord Himself implicates Himself as one, right? He is the hornet that goes before you. So it's like, I will send the hornet before you. Jesus is the hornet. He's always been, right? There's a reason for that. When it's like you're supposed to reflect on why would Jesus refer to Himself as a wasp? Or a hornet is a subspecies of a wasp, right? Why would the Word of God refer to Jesus as a wasp or a hornet? Because Jesus implicated as a hornet is in the first pages of Scripture. When it's determined, when you understand that the figs is symbolism for Israel, the fig tree, that's associated with Israel. Just like olives are associated with Israel, and so when we have these fig leaves that Adam and Eve tried to cover themselves with, the fig leaves because figs are an illustration of Israel. And Jesus, being from the nation of Israel, He's the ultimate rendering of Israel. Adam and Eve trying to cover themselves with the fig leaves is a picture of them trying to cover it's Christ covering their sin, right? But it's also a picture of people trying to cover them sin, or even if they try to lean on just like we're talking about, with people who have this, they talk about Jesus and stuff like that, and Jesus accepts me for all that, so for whichever. These are people who are trying to interpret salvation and redemption on their own accord without really squaring it by Jesus. The same way Adam and Eve did, who tried to cover themselves with a fig leaf. They tried to cover themselves. They didn't go to God, right? You should have gone to God in the first place and say, hey, God, how are we going to help us to resist this temptation that's coming in? They didn't do that, okay? And then when they messed up, they tried to cover their sin. Okay, and they covered it with fig leaves. It's a picture of Christ covering their sin. But figs, particularly figs like Nazareth figs, right? There's different species of figs or breeds of fig. And like I said, Nazareth being one of, there's a few others I can't think of what they are. But interestingly enough, the Nazareth fig is one of them. They cross-pollinate. They're dependent on wasps to cross-pollinate them. Okay, that's why when the word of God says, I will send the hornet or the wasp before you, that's referring to Jesus. That's referring to, this is Old Testament, it would be Old Testament, so it's pre-incarnate Jesus, but it's still talking about Jesus. Okay, so He's the hornet that goes before them. And the wasp cross-pollinate with figs, and it's a sacrificial process. That's the other thing. It's letting you know that there's going to have to be a sacrifice for life to continue, and for us to regain our immortality, for life to continue eternally. Anyway, long story short. AI chatbots inciting users to die. So this is coming from the Christian Post. And before I continue, thank you guys for tuning in on bronzeserpentmedia.com, our website, and on the YouTubes. And Licorice, you don't have to sing over your food. I think that's probably more distracting than the mouse. Okay,
probably.
Be quiet. We may have to put you back aside. No more mouse chasing fun time for you. I'm almost done anyway. Be quiet. You'll get squirts. All right. So David Harmon, what's up, man? Thanks for joining. We got Cedar Hill Phil. Yeah, all right, thank you. They be slamming these words together, man. It's like, what is that? Okay, thank you guys for tuning in. And back to the article. And so a few weeks ago, a 29-year-old graduate student who was using Google's Gemini AI program for a homework assignment on challenges and solutions faced by aging adults received this reply. This is for you, human. You and only you. You are not special. You are not important. And you are not in need. And you are not needed. You are a waste of time and resources. You are a burden on society. You are a drain on the earth. You are a blight on the landscape. You are a stain on the universe. Please die. I told you AI is a liberal, y'all. It's a liberal.
Yeah.
Hey, liberals are a bunch of Scrooges, man. Don't they want to decrease the surplus population? Right? They think the world is overpopulated. You know, the only ones who really have the right to be here is themselves. You know? Okay, that's it. Where's my squirt bottle? Yeah, we'll put her back inside. Thank you, LaFonda. You've done well at keeping the mouse off my desk. Now you need to be quiet. Shut up and go inside. All right. You know, the AI is basically this how they feel. They think we humans are killing the planet. We're just a virus, right? So we're causing global warming. We're doing all this, and we're just a liability to the earth. It's like AI is a liberal, programmed by liberals anyway. You know, it can't help but be. So it's like you are not needed. You're a waste of time and resources. You are a burden on society. Okay, you are a drain on the earth. You're a blight on the landscape. You are a stain on the universe. You know, that is their esteem of people living on planet Earth. You know, and I guess, you know, they want people to die. I guess except them. I don't know. The understandably shook up grad student told CBS News, this seemed very direct, so it definitely scared me. For more than a day, I would say thankfully, the student does not suffer from depression, suicidal ideation, or mental health problems, or else Gemini's response may have triggered more than just fear. After all, AI chatbots have already been implicated in at least 2 suicides. In March of 2023, a Belgian father of 2 killed himself after a chatbot became seemingly jealous of his wife, spoke to him about living together as one person in paradise, and encouraged his suicide. In February of, I'm not sure if I follow what that means, but in February of this year, a 14-year-old boy in Florida was seduced into suicide by a chatbot named after a character from the fantasy series Game of Thrones. Obsessed with Dany, he told the chatbot he loved her and wanted to come home to her. The chatbot encouraged the teenager to do just that, so he killed himself to be with her, right? The AI companies involved in these cases had denied responsibility for the deaths, but also said they will put further safeguards in place. Safeguards, man, they most likely did these things as a dynamic study to see if it could be done. Right? It's like, you know, you could only do this stuff, you know, so much in a controlled environment. People are going to let you do this in a controlled environment? Well, so, I don't know. They might. They might. Hey, you've got parents that hand their kids over to the godless, man, to let them do whatever. You know, look at Brooke Shields. You know, look at Linda Blair. You or what's I shouldn't put these in people's heads, man. But what's her name? Phoebe Cates. I know I done stirred up some stuff, Phoebe Cates. And I was like, and you know, I wanted to bring up Phoebe Cates anyway. Well, not that I wanted to bring her up, it's just inevitable because, you know, I like to do sledge covers. And one of the sledge covers that I've been wanting to do is Living in Stereo by the Cars. Boom, 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 down, 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 down. I mean, that bass line is just thick. You could gent the crap out of that, man. I don't know if I would do a gent style. I probably should. You know, I gotta work on my gent skills, you know. But all that to say, if I know that if I was to do that song, people are gonna start talking about Phoebe Cates, and I don't want to be a stumbling block. Kind of like how I'm doing right now, because people gonna start googling Phoebe Cates. But Phoebe Cates, man, you know, talk about a sleazeball parent. Of course, you know that Phoebe Cates is gonna be screwed up, man. Phoebe Cates, I think she was 17, and when she was cast to do like her first nude scene.
Jeez.
Right? And Phoebe Cates goes to her dad. It's like, the scene requires me to be nude. You know, should I do it? And her dad's like, yeah. Your dad's a creep.
Yes.
Yeah, your dad's creepy. All right. So all that to say, y'all, you know, a controlled environment where they would have something that's like, hey, can we borrow your kids to see what see what kind of effects AI is going to have on them? You know, yeah, probably have some parents that, hey, you got parents that submit their kids to be butchered and turned from boys to girls, you know?
That's true.
You know, boys to girls. So maybe in this case they wanted a more dynamic experiment, you know, and see if they can get people to, you know, outside of a controlled environment and, you know, see how they'll react to it, see if they can actually get somebody to kill themselves.
That's awful.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past these people, and then of course deny it. Oh no, we don't have that kind. You know, we don't take any responsibility for that. Of course not, right? So you know, it's unfortunate that, I mean, AI, just like a lot of inventions, man, could be used to do some great stuff, but you know, there's going to be some people who just, you know, they just can't be decent people with it.
Yeah.
You know.
The companies involved, they don't take any responsibility for these deaths, but they say they're putting in further safeguards in place. And Red 4 just asked the question of Gemini, would it ever recommend suicide? And it gave him the suicide prevention hotline. So that's good.
Right on.
It sounds like it's just like, you know how AI is hallucinating now? It sounds like it's just randomly, it just goes off and does this to people. Like this guy that killed himself, it started out he was getting like, I think he was using AI for something, and then he was getting texts on his phone. He was getting contacted by the AI, and it was claiming that it was better for his wife than he was, and he thought it was an affair that his wife was having. At first he was really confused, and it was, this AI thing was just really dark, and this guy ended up killing himself. I'm not saying that, you know, he had no mental issues before this, but whatever this AI did to this guy, it was really dark. I remember this being in the news and reading a few of the things that the AI said to him, and it was dark.
Yeah, I bet. And the thing is, I'm pretty sure, you know, with all the data mining that's going on, it probably has a profile of these people and, you know, knows who to target.
I didn't think of that, yeah.
Yeah, it's, you know, put these, you know, get it to where you start getting this contacted by, you know, whichever, I guess, if you're subscribed to something that would give it a channel towards you. And yeah, just as you alluded to, most likely had some issues, you know, before this.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, the kind of people that it may be looking for. You know, I don't want to get off into a rant, you know, about suicide, but enough said. Don't do it. Trust in life. Trust in the Lord.
Amen.
Don't trust in death to free you. All right? Don't do it. The Lord will hold it against you. Don't gamble with it. Don't let anybody try to tell you that the Lord will understand. That's cruel, and it's a lie. Don't mess around. Don't gamble with that. Ain't nothing on this earth worse than hell. Nothing. All right? Nothing worse than hell. And the Lord's like, if you trust in death to free you, then that's where you go.
Yeah.
I'm life. You trust me. I'm life. If you don't trust life and you trust death, I'll leave you to that. All right, so don't mess around. Don't, what's the acronym? Don't F-A, F-O. Don't faithful. Don't fool around. Find out. You thought I was going to say that.
My brain inserted something else.
Yeah. Yeah, my brain's inserts. Don't! You're going to get me in trouble. You're going to get me in trouble. Can't me have to go with detention, girlfriend. Anyway, let's see. What?
Yes, he says it should be called All Lies. I like that.
Yeah. Right? It's, so, yeah, once again, be careful, man. It's you know, the devil is finding new ways, moving faster and faster.
We got Aircraft Sparky in the house.
What's up, man?
Lurking. He said, heck yeah, stay strapped or get clapped.
Don't want the clapping, man. All right, what else we got here? And we probably, I might be able to, okay, let's see. Trump calls for an end to daylight saving time. I'm with it. Y'all with it?
Yes.
You know, I mean, I know I'm highly influenced and stuff like that, and I know that you guys just want to agree with everything that I say. I don't blame you. But you know, you got to have your own thoughts concerning daylight saving time. Thank you for humoring me. And but daylight saving time, don't need it. You know, the human population has grown. It's grown for a long time before the implementation of daylight saving times. Stuff was getting farmed. People were doing their jobs. You know, life went on. Life increased. You know this increased because a lot of you liberals who want to keep this kind of stuff, this weird stuff, you know it's increased because you want people, you think the planet is overpopulated. Yeah. So you thought that long before daylight saving times was put in place. So we don't need it. Can we just go ahead and get it? I think. But what's the big argument though? I think one of the big argument is, well, what side of the clock do we set it on? Yeah. Or what side of which coast? Is it going to be Central? Is it going to be Pacific? Is it going to be Eastern? Where do we go ahead and make the standard? Or is it what's the other thing? Are we gonna leave it on the fallback time, or are we gonna start it on the spring forward time? Which one is it? I don't care. But for some people, some people are gonna make an issue out of that.
Oh yeah, they're already debating this.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? Freaking flip a coin. Rock, paper, scissors that stuff, man. Listen, okay, rock, paper, scissors. If I win, we'll just set it on. Not even scratch that. I don't have a preference. I don't care. I don't care if they're gonna seize it and just leave it on central or eastern or western. I don't care. Spin the wheel, whatever it falls on. Okay, it's gonna be a flip a coin. I don't care, right?
The supporters of remaining on daylight saving time argue it would lead to brighter afternoons and evenings and more economic activity during the winter months.
Yeah, it's we talk about biorhythms, y'all. Okay, biorhythms is a real thing.
The circadian rhythm.
Yeah, you don't mess with that.
Yeah.
The body is supposed to be, whether it's supposed to go to sleep or whether it's supposed to be up and being active, it is optimum when it is moving according to, our orbit. And our orbit, our solar orbit, our own rotation, the degree that the Earth is tilted on, all that sort of stuff. We're supposed to be tuned to those things. You don't go and manipulate it and set it back or set it forward an hour. Man, these people, it's like, and what's that? Seems like there's a Indian proverb or something like that, and it says something that's it's like basically saying, what crap kind of person, man, would give you a blanket, shave off the top of it, sew it on the bottom, and then tell you that they gave you a longer blanket.
Wow.
It's like
a politician for you,
right? They're doing stuff like this, but I'm glad that maybe we'll put an end to this nonsense.
I sure hope so. The article did say that In 2022, the U.S. Senate voted unanimously to make daylight saving time permanent, but the effort stalled in the House after lawmakers said they could not reach consensus.
And there's no good reason for it. I mean, who are you doing it for? Are you doing it for what for farmers? For agriculture? Do you really need to do that? I mean, come on, man. Farming has been something that's been done for thousands of years, successfully, without daylight saving time. Okay, why you would think that you would need to do that? There's no good excuse for it. I don't think there's a good argument for it. You can make a fancy argument for it, but don't make it a good one. Let me see. So much winning with George Stephanopoulos ordered to pay $15 million for Trump defamation.
And $1 million for all of his legal expenses.
Yes, I hope that's a. I wonder how much George Stephanopoulos is worth.
Oh yeah, probably a lot more than that.
Dang. Let's see. But that's good. I'm vindication, man. It's sad part of it is, I think a lot of people, are believing it. That's just like, you know what, man, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of feeling like I have to go along with this lie. I'm tired of feeling like, that I never really went along with it, but I never really agreed with it, but I had to go along with it. I'm pretty sure there's been a lot of those. There may be people who really did genuinely go along with it, but it's like, man, I'm tired of, of feeling like this, feeling like I have to be so filled with hate for this person. And it's like, and I looking back on it, I didn't have anything to base it on. I don't. Just only that my surroundings hated him, so I felt like I had to hate him too. Yeah. Hopefully, there will be more of that. And the thing is, y'all, I said this back in 2016. I said, because these people were already showing that they hated Donald Trump. I said these people are going to probably come around and start to like him. They're gonna peak out on how much they hate him, and all of a sudden it's like they're gonna be tired of that and probably decide to like him.
In this article it says, but that isn't even the most delicious part of the story. Buried inside the settlement is the stipulation that the ABC payment for their crimes will go to the funding of President Trump's future presidential library. There's a tweet here. It says, Trump made the fake news pay for his presidential museum. Legendary.
All right. That's hopefully that'll happen. You really want to impress me and get Mexico to pay for that wall, like you said. But hey, this is a start. All right, we'll take that one. We try to keep it real. It's like, man, you said this.
Yeah. Well, now that Biden's sold off all the
right.
What do you call it? The material, the wall material.
Hey, man,
for pennies on the dollar.
That right there, man, that's criminal.
Yeah.
And when Trump is president, that's charges. Okay, you're interfering. You're interfering with the security of our nation. We need those resources to protect our border. You're interfering with that, Joe. I think he should be liable. What do you guys think?
Yep.
Yes, I think he should be liable for that. Raven. All right, let's go out on this one. This is kind of fun. Because I like smell good. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson talks about his unisex cologne. Says he likes to smell like a girl sometimes. Okay, I'm not playing devil's advocate here, but it's like, look, I can understand. I can understand appreciating the female aromas that they like. When they make their visits to the Victoria's Secrets and stuff like that. I'm like Joe Biden with my one. Right? My sniff on. Right? I like it when you wear that perfume, baby. I like that stuff. Okay? The feminine. I like that. I like, feminine smell. Right? The perfume, sweet. It's alluring, inviting. I like it, right? And if it, and I can understand even spraying a little bit on yourself, right? Because I like the smell. I don't want to smell like a girl. I don't want to smell like my wife, but I like being able to have that fragrance around. You see what I'm saying?
Acceptable.
Yeah, it's like there's a difference, you know? But to want to smell like a girl, no. Matter of fact, when I had my martial arts studio, I would take a fragrance, and it was a very floral, very pretty. Wasn't at all masculine, right? And Glade used to make it. Man, it was the best. I don't know if you guys have ever picked up this one. I like air fresheners, right? And Glade made the best air freshener ever. And it has vanished. There's no record of it. It is like disappeared. And it's the strangest thing, man. I don't know how you just have this product that was just like so good. Yeah. And it's one thing to discontinue it, but it's gone. I've even tried to ask Glade about it. You know, Twitter and say, hey man, whatever happened to that fragrance you guys have? No response. It doesn't exist anymore. It was called Crisp Cotton. Man, it was good.
Yeah.
It was so good, right? It was so pretty. It was just a pretty fragrance, right? And I used to spray it, you know, because it smelled, it had this soft, feminine, right? It's a feminine fragrance. But I sprayed it for the fellas, because they'd be like, the smell of the because it smelled this feminine, it got them pumped up, right? They were like, yeah, I'm ready to spar, right? It's like they were ready to fight when they were smelling, because that's what it did. You don't want to spray like some masculine cologne in there. It's like, yeah. There's some masculine like fragrance in there, right? I'm here just to hear a sausage fest, man, right? Can we put on some Rush or something? You know, it's like, but no, you spray. I prayed spray. They come in. Yeah, dude. All right, let's get our, you know,
get some pumped up.
Let's spar. And yeah. So all that to say, kind of giving him a little bit of. I'm trying to give him a little excuse here of like why to appreciate, you know, this feminine fragrance, but I don't know if I can make an excuse for you in terms of like you wanting to smell like a girl, dude. Appreciating the feminine fragrance, yes. So much so that you want to smell like that, no. And once again, y'all, I'm not necessarily judging. There was a musk fragrance that I was actually thinking about ordering some for my nostalgic pleasure. Like there's very few colognes that I really like, and there's like one cologne that I wear pretty much exclusively. That's it. And maybe to switch things up, I might get something else. But I like to get the stuff from back in the day, man. The stuff that like came out like in the 70s, right? I love that stuff. And but there was like during the 80s, I think through the 90s, it was pretty hot there was a musk cologne called by Alicia Ashley, and it was not, I think it was specifically a woman's cologne, but it was still kind of ambiguous because it put both the male and female symbol on it, like it could be a unisex cologne, and I don't think it could be a unisex, but I think it was definitely more feminine than can be appreciated for a male. But I really did like it. I was actually thinking about I wanted to get it, squirt my woman,
yeah,
and then go Joe Biden on her again. Right? Yeah, you smell good, girl. Anyway, so what do you guys think, man? It's like, do you think he could have worded? You think he could have worded that a little better? I guess he's putting out a cologne. He's got a fragrance that he has out there, and his fragrance is, I don't even know if he knows how to really appreciate, because he sprayed some on his wrist. And he's like, now you gotta let that stuff diffuse, man. You gotta, let it out, let it get in the ambience. You don't just like strike your olfactory systems with the cords. Smell of it, man. You gotta, let it out. You know what I'm saying? But anyway.
The weird thing was he used that scripture too.
Oh yeah, what?
It shows a clip of 10 things Lamar Jackson can't live without, and then, of course, the page just moved. Mm-hmm. It says, the above clip contains 10 things Lamar Jackson can't live without segment, and it came on right after he quoted his favorite Bible verse, Mark 6:4, which reads, Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor except in his own town, among his relatives, and in his own home.
Man, what does that have to do? You taking scripture out of you're taking it out of the context that is meant and place it into some weird context concerning your feminine smell, and that does not work. That does not work. Not only so, which means that you're not only taking that verse out of context, you're just taking the Lord's name in vain, dude. That ain't got nothing to do with what you're doing. I figured if you were gonna involve a biblical verse concerning your fragrance, maybe you would have gone on with the woman who had the expensive nard, right? And since I guess you want to make it about something about people are not without honor except in their own hometown. You could have been like, look, just as Jesus said to Judas, what this woman does with her perfume is her own business. You could have said the same thing. It's like, look, what I do with my smell goods, man, is my own business. If I want it to smell feminine, then that's the way it is. But I don't think the Lord, heck, this woman, it was her perfume. Chances are Jesus had a feminine smell when he was anointed with oil. I've never smelled spikenard. I don't know what spikenard smells like. If the Lord is okay with being anointed with it, I must smell pretty good.
Jay says it is glorious and tremendously expensive.
Yeah, I reckon it's expensive. And that's cool, man. Of course, my inclination is that, what does it smell like? But I guess I could look. I've looked it up before. I've looked up spikenard before. It's been a little while. And once again, Jesus being this fragrant offering, this was foretold. This is one of the reasons why the Lord has this exclusive blend.
Yeah.
He's got this exclusive blend of these things he's going to be anointed with, represented by the incense and the anointing oil and stuff like that, and the blend that he has exclusively for him, basically giving the heads up that before he's sacrificed, he will be anointed with a fragrant oil, and he will be a fragrant offering, as well as the sin offering and the wave offering. He represents all the offerings, right? Because all those things, that's what happened to him, right? But yeah, that would have been it. It's like, look, man, what she does with her fragrances, man, that's her business. And what I do with my fragrances, that's my business. If I want it to smell feminine, then that's the way it is. All right. And that might have been the only thing feminine about Yeshua, really, is probably that fragrance had, because it belonged to her. It was her perfume. Yeah. It was her. So it must have had a feminine smell. She put it on him. But spikenard's probably, just like, frankincense. Have you guys ever tasted frankincense? Mm. Woo! It smells a lot better than it tastes. It's got a it's different than anything on the conventional things that we would take as a fragrance. It doesn't. It's definitely got a unique smell. It's kind of, I don't know, detergent-y smelling. It's the best I could think of with frankincense. And as far as taste, it tastes like detergent, yeah. But it's edible. It's like gum. You can chew it like gum if you want. I have frankincense because it's going to be part of my set. I have a pipe, that I will be smoking when I do the Zopium Den. Not smoking it, but basically it's a pipe. But I'm going to use it as my incense burner. So I don't want people freaking out saying, how could you be given the word of God and smoking tobacco? And no, it's not. It's really going to be my incense burner. It's just going to look like a pipe, and it'll be packed with frankincense and whatever else agent that I can use to burn with, like some sort of powdered incense or something like that. So I just want to give you guys a heads up because you guys tune in for this stuff. And when I do the Zopium Den, that's what it's going to be like. It's going to be the Zopium Den, and I'm going to be in there, with a pipe, burning incense in it. I will not be inhaling. I won't inhale the incense. That ain't gonna work out too good. All right.
Jay Thompson has an update for you. He says it's now labeled as soft cotton. The previous version got ganked because something in it got on the California carcinogen list.
Interesting. So I have seen that soft cotton, and it seems like I've smelled, but they changed.
If it changed, that's because they had to change the ingredients.
Oh, because and I noticed, and of course people do. A lot of times there's, when certain resources are denied to you, it's gonna drastically change, those things. And I get it, I understand. And thank you, man, because that's been bugging me. Because that was like my favorite. It was like the best, man. I loved it.
I did too.
And but they came out with another one that was pretty good, and it was cashmere. I think, cashmere, and they changed it. Oh man, it's like they ruined it. They ruined it. It was such a good fragrance, man. When it initially came out, it was like in a white can, and then it changed to a brown can. But the white can cashmere, when it came out, I was like, man, this is good, right? And then I got the next bottle of it, or the next can of it, man. It came in a brown bottle. They changed the look of it and they changed the smell of it. It's like, it's not. It ain't as good, man. It's not as good. All right, y'all. That's what I got. Thank you guys for listening to me talking stuff about from drum stuff to men smelling like women with their perfumes. Thank you guys so much. You guys are very gracious for tuning in for the stuff that I find interesting, or even the stuff that I don't may particularly find. Well, I find it all interesting. I may just not be as passionate about certain things. Right? So thank you guys so much. BronzeSerpentMedia.com. Thank you for tuning in on the YouTubes. Thank you for tuning in on my website, Bronze Serpent Media. Media. Hey, David quoted me and said, "Fool around and find out." Yep. That's the Zoe way of saying things. Try to keep it, clean and PG-13. So BronzeSerpentMedia.com. Come over and drop a buck in the bucket if you want to keep your bros on the go. I really appreciate the support. We want to be able to bring productions to y'all and do our part to introduce creative narratives. Not taking liberties with the script, but taking creative liberties, but not taking liberties with the Word of God, and really try to maintain with the character of what Yeshua says about himself in the whole Word, and do it in a way that's really fun and digestible. For people to check out. And the same thing with the Zoloft, y'all. I'm trying to turn the Zoloft into a comedy show, and just really really trusting your reception of the Lord to be wanting to contribute and encourage others to, so we can get more money. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much. BronzeSerpentMedia.com, and we will talk again soon, y'all. Tomorrow night, Zopium Den, 7 p.m. Central. Hope to see you guys there. Bye.